Well, if you mention President Obama or the United States to Vladimir Putin these days, he doesn't have a whole lot of good things to say. He put on quite a show in Russia today when he was interviewed by a U.S. reporter. Here was his response when asked about the president's comments on his role in stoking up the conflict in Ukraine.
President Obama has accused you, as you know, of untruths when it comes to supporting some of the separatist groups in the Ukraine.
Who is he to judge? Who is he to judge? Seriously. If he wants to judge people, why don't he get a job in court somewhere? It's his point of view. And I have my point of view when it comes to certain things, you know.
Well, we've got two more to play for you, but first let's go around the table on that one. He suggests that Obama go find a new line of work and, like, be a judge or whatever. I mean, they couldn't find a man to do his voiceover, Greg?
I don't know, but in Russia, humor is made of wood. I can say that because I'm married to a Russian. Putin's legacy, he's not a good man. They don't like him there. But his legacy will always be a single-minded attempt to restore Russia as a world power. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to expand.
Well, he's doing it.
Yeah, that's my point. Obama's legacy on the world stage is the opposite, to pull back, to shrink, to retreat. So they're both deeply flawed, but you can see who's winning. Right now, Putin is running a country. He is not comforting athletes. He's not comforting professors. Obama is running an advice column.
Yeah, he's not appeasing, and nor appeasement politics in Russia.
First of all, Russia will never be a power again. It's got nuclear weapons. Outside of that, that's it. They pulled back from the borders of the Ukraine.
What else are they missing?
The idea
what are you talking about?
First of all, this little punk, you know, he's only 5'6". They probably put him on a pillow to be an equal.
Hey, watch it, Bob. I'm
sorry.
I'm slightly over 5'6".
He scored 6 goals in a hockey game the other
day. And who's going to stop him? Who's going to try to stop him?
He wrestled a lion.
Yeah, I just tell you
the guy used to be in KGB.
Bob, they produce 9 million barrels of oil per day. They have all the money they'll ever need. They have the nuclear weapon.
What happened the other day, too? Okay, Vladimir Putin, in his desire to become a regional power, maybe not as determined as the Chinese, but he decided to partner with the Chinese, Eric, and do a $70 billion infrastructure project which would take all this Siberian oil and sell it to the Chinese. What does that mean?
Here's exactly what that means. China, for the last probably 15 years or so, has gone out and purchased all these assets. They've purchased oil and gas assets around the world. For China to now do this big major deal with the Russians, forget Russia. The people you need to be worried about are the Chinese. That's the one thing they don't have. They don't have oil production, and they have coal, but they need oil. So now they've got that locked up. If they ever decide to be angry and start hating us, we're in big trouble.
Let me ask you a question. The country as big as China, did no dinosaurs die there? Why don't they have oil?
They have coal. They have coal. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe it's deeper.
Bob, can you answer this question? At the same time, the president back here at home won't agree to go along with the Keystone Pipeline.
Yeah.
So you have the Russians partnering with the Chinese, and what are we doing? The opposite.
Listen, I've long expected that the Chinese, if they didn't get a partnership with the Russians, were going to invade Russia to get their oil. Seriously. I think I could imagine the day when the Chinese premier comes to the White House and says, we're going to get into this with the Russians, stay out of it. It's not your business. And they're going to go in non-nuclear because they know about MAD, mutually assured destruction, and they're going to take the Siberian oil fields because they need it. And if this doesn't work out...
They don't have to do that. They're buying it.
So far.
Yeah, here's the deal. This is like just one big international dodgeball game, and the USA keeps getting smacked Marsha Brady style in the face to the point where it's embarrassing. Like I'm so ashamed of this whole situation because we have been regularly and routinely mocked by Putin. And guess what? Every time he shows this contemptuous disdain for the United States, his poll numbers over there go up because they see that as leadership. And he's taken advantage of us with respect to Syria, Iran, Crimea, Ukraine, and he's going to keep pushing it because there's no pushback.
And he was asked about this reset button. Well, he was asked about the reset button, and he said this. And why he thinks that it fell apart.
In 2009, we were all very excited to see the reset in relations with the United States. Today, that reset lies in tatters. What went wrong?
Well, it's the result of unilateral action. You can create coalitions to justify certain actions, but this is not what we do in Russia. We believe that countries need to agree on certain rules, act in accordance with international law, take on board each other's interests.
Well, I guess he's not too pleased about those sanctions that we put on his country. And then he was asked if he can envision another reset again. And here's what he said.
Is there a road back in the relationship with President Obama and this current administration?
We never did anything to ruin our relationship. Our cooperation continues. We're not trying to fence ourselves out from the world, but you can't force people to like you, as we say in Russia.
He did nothing to ruin the relationship, and then, Greg, there's elections over the weekend. He basically blamed the West, the United States, for what's happening in Ukraine.
You know what we can do? We got to learn from Putin. We want to play nice. He has no interest in playing nice. You got to learn from your enemies. He's exploiting our weaknesses. We have to exploit his. We should be drilling. We should be fracking. We should be exporting. This isn't a Cold War. It's a heating war.
It's really sad, but don't worry, because when Obama says he's going to help and get involved, he really does. He basically sent, like, millions of Cliff Bars, MREs, right, to Ukraine for them to no weapons. So, but don't worry about that.
After we got into that ridiculous war in Iraq, which we shouldn't have been in, you know who the Iraqis under the Bush administration, who they gave their first leases to for the oil fields? The Chinese and the Russians. It tells you a whole lot. And so you can't put it all on Obama's way. And Putin, the only thing he exports that's worth a damn is oil and women.
But isn't he embarrassing the United States, Eric?
No, we're embarrassing ourselves, Angie. You remember when Hillary Clinton went over there and handed that stupid reset button and said whatever she said, and it was supposed to be reset, but it was actually like, you guys stink and we're going to be whatever the ridiculous fail we were doing. That's what we always do. We just want them to like us so badly. And Greg's right. Are you done?
No, he's talking about Putin's women, and he just keeps talking over here.
Oh, well, we need to do like two cameras. So you can have that conversation. Yeah. Anyway, to make a long story short, Putin doesn't give a crap what the rest of the world thinks about him, and that's all Obama does is make sure that people like him.
But it sounds like Putin doesn't care. It doesn't sound like anyone really likes us or respects us. We tell him on an open mic. We tell him on an open mic we're going to be more flexible with him. Do you think they respect us for that?
Well, listen, remember George Bush?
We kept that promise, though.
We really did. Well, that's good.
Who cares? He's a fascist.
Coming up,
I mean, come on.
Can you get?
Takes me away.